Good morning and welcome to our Northcoders event this glorious Thursday morning in Manchester. You will notice behind me, which is very pleasing to the eye, that we have some of our lovely students that are busy working away learning how to code. So today we've put this event on. We've got a couple of guests who I'll introduce in a moment. And we're finding that often there are more roles in software development and technology than there are skilled candidates to fill them. So today we're going to have a bit of a chat about how to address this situation, how to try and fill and plug this digital skills gap with longer term recruitment strategies. So I have joining me today, we have got Liam from Silverchip, which is a Manchester-based company, and I've got Nathan from Templar Payments, who are based in Yorkshire and Leeds. So I think I'll go to Liam first. So Liam, could you tell us a bit about yourself, your company, how long have you been going for and what you do?
Yep, of course. My name's Liam Bateman. I am the CTO and co-founder of Silverchip. We're a Manchester-based business and we produce bespoke digital solutions, anything from mobile applications, games, e-commerce websites, anything in the digital space. We've been around for almost 11 years now, and we have a development team of around 20 in Manchester.
Okay, brilliant. And Nathan, same question to you.
Yes, I'm from Templar Payments. We make merchant onboarding simpler through chargeback management, automatic PDF form filling, and direct APIs to banks. We've been going for about 10 months now, and we've already grown to 20 employees, so it's quite ballistic, our growth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool, thank you. So Liam, back to you. Tell me about your plans for the next 6 to 12 months. So obviously we've had this past year of COVID, which was testing at best. However, we're in a really strong position and a strong industry because we're in technology. And so therefore we've been able to recover and bounce back really, really quickly. And it feels like this year has just gone insane for every company that we speak to in terms of growth and in terms of the business. So talk to me about your growth plans for the next 6 to 12 months. Where are you heading?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'll probably just start off by saying that I think COVID for the digital sector has accelerated our growth. So what we plan to do in 2 or 3 years, we're now bringing forward. So we exceeded our growth targets through Corona because of just the world wanting to go digital. But then looking at the next 6 to 12 months now, we're looking at expanding that development team. We've built the core of the business. We've built the leadership team up over the last 12 to 24 months. And now we're looking at adding in that development resource by about 6, we reckon, over the next 12 months.
Right, okay. And you've taken Northcoders before. So we obviously are a training provider. We teach people how to be software developers over a 14-week course. And you have Northcoders in situ in your company. How many people have you got there from Northcoders now?
I think we've got 5 or 6 Northcoders now in place, and they're in all elements of the business, from junior developers through to team leaders now. So Northcoders had a real impact on our growth over the last few years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Nathan, same question about your growth plans, because our relationship is fairly new, probably over a couple of months. And you came to see us in the office in Manchester, which was lovely to see you, actual human contact. And we spoke about your company and how it has just absolutely gone bananas business-wise and busy-wise. So talk to me about your growth plans and what's happening for you. Oh, you're on mute, Nathan. We can't hear you.
Sorry. Just for us, it's just a case of working with more banks to get direct integrations to speed up the process. We've also got an app on the go called Rainforest that we're building, which is aims to support the local community and support local businesses. And in conjunction with that, we need more developers, essentially. And the reason we chose Northcoders is because, the skill set is so high when they come out, so that they're a really core part of our team. We've got 4 now, I think. So yeah, we're going fast with them.
Yeah. Okay. And so we are speaking to companies all day long and every day that are finding recruiting at the moment difficult because there is that digital skills gap. How are you finding it in such this aggressive and competitive marketplace? What are you finding it difficult or?
It's kind of hard.
It's all right. Go on, Nathan. I was going to say either of you, but our connection is a little bit slow on this. There's a bit of a delay.
It's quite hard to find someone that is both skilled and a really good culture fit, because they're quite hard to find that. So it's been quite a challenge to go through, hundreds of CVs and find someone that we think will be a good culture fit as well as having the relevant skills. That's why it's so difficult. And I think also a lot of people with really good culture can sometimes not want to go into development. They want to do something a bit different. So it's kind of, it's the hiring to retrain that will help us get more people in.
Yeah. And so with Templar Payments, we've been dealing with you, and you've got 4 Northcoders, and you actually need to take on 10 in total, which is a massive recruitment drive. And obviously with that difficulty of high, we haven't got enough people to give to you. So the way that we're now addressing that is to look to co-recruit people externally that haven't been trained in software development, and to actually put them on our apprenticeship program, which is essentially the boot camp. It's called Reskill. So we will recruit alongside you to make sure you get the right people for your culture and your fit. And they will be sent to us for their first 14 weeks of training, and that process will be funded by the apprenticeship levy. And at the end of that, you'll get your fully trained software developer of your choice. So how do you feel that will benefit your company or
Go on,
Sorry, because it's a massive delay. It's putting me off because it's echoing in my ear. So how do you feel that will benefit your company, Nathan?
So, our main company goal is culture. We're not really, that's why we've come to Northcoders. So we want a really good working environment. So allowing us to hire people that we like first and then train them up. It's a whole different way of doing recruitment, because normally you just look for skills and, culture is an afterthought. But I think most of the places that I've worked, especially dev agencies, are very culture heavy. And so that's the kind of culture we want to bring to Templar. Hiring people that we like first and putting them through a training program. And it also showed they've got really good dedication, because not only did they not have the skills when they came into the business, but they've spent 14 weeks learning the necessary skills and then, trying to come up the ladder over the years. So it shows quite a lot of dedication and will to want to be a developer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then in terms of the time that it takes, and because you need such a big amount of intake of staff into the business, we've had to kind of talk in a collective way about this longer term recruitment strategy as such, because it's very easy when you're super busy and you're doing the day to day and you're in a growth mode, which you are, to kind of get carried away in the moment and not be thinking so much so about recruitment strategy in the future. And we've spoken about that at length. So we both feel that this is a really good opportunity for you to be able to satisfy those needs that you've got in the next 3, 6 and 12 months time. And we have spoken about that at length. So we've come up with a solution, which is great. So Liam, off the back of that, and we've spoken before, so you have Northcoders within your business. You are also in growth mode. You're looking to take on more junior software developers. And we've spoken about matchmaking you with potential hires for them to come on the apprenticeship. So talk to me about your views and opinions on that, and what your kind of strategies are for the next 6 to 12 months.
Well, much the same as what Nathan said there. I think that culture is everything, and especially a business in growth mode, as you describe it, you don't want to lose that. So you don't want to become a big commercial entity overnight. You've got to retain why we started this process, why me and Jamie set up this business. So it's making sure that we've got our eye on that when we're recruiting is really, really important. And then in terms of the way that we're structuring our hiring, we want to make sure that we have a good mix of junior and senior team members, because the last thing that we want in the organization is that we've got a whole lot of juniors that have got nowhere to learn from. So we're going to balance that very carefully as we do grow. We could probably grow a lot quicker in terms of numbers, but we've got to make sure that the foundations are right for us and for what we're trying to achieve here. rather than just kind of, snap hire a lot of people that are available.
Mm-hmm. And then in terms of, obviously we've had a working relationship for some years, and Nathan, you're kind of like new with the whole Northcoders relationship. What is it about the training that we provide that suits your businesses so well? Because you're in both very different industries.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk to me a little bit about what it is about the Northcoders training that gives you the people that you need? I'll go to Liam first.
Okay. I think that there's potentially we've had this conversation 1,000 times with different people, and there's potentially a catch-22 of, people that come to Northcoders. They've already made that decision that they're coming to Northcoders. They've done the entry exam. They're making the financial commitment. They're making the time commitment, which already ticks a lot of boxes as to whether someone, truly wants to break into this industry. And then the second thing is that, Northcoders teaches a lot of great technical skills. There's no question about that. But there's probably a lot of places that teach a lot of great technical skills. And I think the fundamental for me that I see in Northcoders, in the alumni of Northcoders, is they have the ability to learn. And they've been taught how to learn, how to go off and figure stuff out. And that's an often overlooked and misunderstood part of being a software developer, of working in tech in general, that you can have all the skills in the world, but if you can't adapt and learn something new, them skills are going to time out very quickly. So for me, the fundamental for Northcoders is that they come out of the training camp knowing how to learn.
Yeah, thank you. And same to Nathan, same question.
Similar to what Liam said, I mean, I've noticed that the people that we've hired in the last few weeks have already come. They haven't picked up hooks and they haven't touched express routing, but they're already going out and learning that by themselves, over the evening, and they'll come back to me the next day. I know this now, and I can use this. And as well, they also use the MERN stack, which is what we use. So,
okay,
JavaScript all.
Yeah. Where's your jumper? You said you'd have your jumper on today. I love JavaScript jumper.
Get it. Post.
So we've had a question come in that's on the chat, and it's from Hannah. So she's put, really informative session so far. A question for both Nathan and Liam. How important is learning and development to you both? Not just training when you hire, but keeping that progression going.
I mean, for me, it's the most important, because tech is always evolving. It changes every year. Last year, hooks weren't a thing. The year before, React wasn't a thing. So every new year, something new comes out, and you have to update it. Like, you're just updating your training system now to use hooks, which is, last week we were using classes. So it's constantly evolving, and you constantly need to learn something new. Otherwise, you're just going to fall behind and, be using PHP.
Yeah, I mean, much the same as what Nathan said there. I think, again, the Northcoders course is a starting point, and that's the entry into the market. And for anyone that's sort of doing the course or come out the course, will tell you is that gives you the tools, the toolkit to keep progressing. And finding an organization that's going to support that growth, that learning, is going to be essential to you becoming the best software developer that you can be. So it's imperative, and any organization that doesn't offer that help, that training, that support, is not going to last very long.
Yeah. So the Reskill course that we offer, obviously, is the first 14 weeks of it is the boot camp as an apprenticeship. And then the learners that we have are actually on program with us for 13 months, but obviously they're sent back to their employer. And that learning is continuous over that 13-month period, and again paid for by the apprenticeship levy. Now, there was an article that came out in the Financial Times, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and in the past 2 years, there's £2 billion worth of unspent levy funds in businesses' pots that will be taken away because they've not spent it. What do you feel as business owners and working in the tech industry that the government can do to support you as employers more to be able to I suppose spend this money or know about it? where I suppose there's an argument that there's something going wrong there if this money isn't being spent on training and developing staff when there's a pot of money to be able to do that. So in terms of the government, what do you think, Liam, that they could do more of?
Well, I think the question there again is sort of dimensional in the sense that I didn't know the apprenticeship levy pots existed up until a year ago, and it was only through Northcoders that we discovered how that actually works. So there's definitely an awareness element there. And then the second bit is that I still think apprenticeships are still seen as that's the thing you do when you're 16, and you do that till you're 16 to 18, and that's it. That's what an apprenticeship is, and it's a way to not go to college or not to do something else. And I think that old mentality still exists when apprenticeships now offering, especially like the reskill and the upskill programs that you guys are offering, allow people of any age to either retrain or upskill in an area, which is great for businesses. But I think that comes down to A, awareness from the government, and B, providers like yourself offering that rather than offering the traditional 16 to 18 out of school apprenticeships.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There is a definite stigma when we talk about apprenticeship levy funding and about our courses being funded by the apprenticeship levy, that people do feel that traditionally that was a route to market for 16 to 18 year olds, or if you just come out of college. And there is the government probably needs to look at doing some sort of rebrand in that sense, because an apprenticeship is not just for young people, it's for everybody. Right. And so how we try and articulate it is that, yes, it is an apprenticeship, but it's a funding mechanism for us to be able to train either people new into tech or upskill people that have been in technology roles for, say, 12 to 18 months with our upskill training courses. So, yeah, there is a massive stigma, and we're fighting against that as well, because the automatic reaction is kind of like, oh, well, I haven't got any young people, or we don't want to do apprenticeships. And yeah, I agree. That's probably why there's this massive amount of money that's sat in the pot that will go back to the Treasury unspent. In terms of the apprenticeship and the levy, for any companies that are watching us today that haven't got access to a levy pot, there is also another route to market for you to be able to access funding called levy transfer. And if anybody wanted to speak to us about that, please do contact us and we'll go into a little bit more detail. So even if you don't have your own levy pot, those funds are still available for you to be able to use to facilitate your training course. So again, we've got some comments and some questions. So from Sarah, great session. My question is, what do you look for in a beginner software developer? So I'll go to Nathan, please.
I mean, my main thing is drive. I think good software developers, no matter what skill level they are, you just have a certain drive about them. They're very happy to be given a problem and not be given the answer, to be able to go on Stack Overflow and find out. And that whole process to a good software developer is quite exciting. At least it is for me. Trying to figure out a bug and trying to solve it. So I guess I look for passion more than anything when I'm looking for a junior developer.
And what about you, Liam?
Yeah, nail on the head. The word passion gets thrown around a lot, and I think there's a bit of a misguided. Some people misinterpret what that means. Now, that doesn't mean that you run into your interview and start, wearing your I Love JavaScript T-shirt, screaming about, how many reputation you've got on Stack Overflow and your GitHub's awesome. What it means is that, you care about what it is that you're about to do. You are passionate about getting into this industry. You're passionate about learning. You're passionate about self-development. You're passionate about making a difference. And then things all show through really easily, even for people that aren't necessarily as public facing in terms of things like GitHub and Stack Overflow and all the, insert whatever platform here. So yeah, passion nailed on, but just making sure that people are clear on what passion actually means.
Yeah. And we've got another comment on the chat. So this is from Lee. So I think what helps Northcoders continue to find quality people is also the barrier to entry set by Northcoders that weed out tyre kickers, etc. early. You have to show desire and determination before you can hand over your cash to learn. Yes, that is true. And also on the apprenticeship, the reskill apprenticeship that we are now offering with our co-employees, even though that is funded by the apprenticeship levy, the entry challenge and the standard will be just as high. So again, it's this negative connotation when we talk about apprenticeship sometimes. It's a funding mechanism. The output of the Northcoder by the time they've done that training course and they're in situ with the company will be just as high as every other Northcoder that comes through our doors. So we don't relax standards in any way. So people have to be committed and show that desire and determination to learn as well, which is good.
Sorry to jump in there, but it's probably worth mentioning as well, like, you know, that could be interpreted. Lee's absolutely spot on, and I understand what he's getting at there, but that could, you know, it's certainly not a barrier to entry. It's something that anyone can do. It's testing whether you're going to want to pursue this course, you know, past that initial point. So all the materials are available. All the materials to get through that challenge are available online and with the support that you guys offer. So it is still open to anybody. Just making sure you're not going to get people into your course that are going to disappear after the first week because it's too difficult.
Exactly. And when we talk about people that have done the course, we've trained people from the age of 18 all the way up to 54. And we've had people from all different walks of life, from call centre workers to the announcer at Piccadilly train station to we had a vet on a cohort a few months ago, musicians, poets, dancers, drummers. So all walks of life and all ages. So yeah, it's at least put absolutely what I mean, Liam. You've just put it much better than me, and much better than I, in fact. So thanks for that, Liam. So yeah, it's not a barrier to entry at all, but you do have to be serious about it. But it is open and available to all, and we will help you through that process as well. We've got an onboarding team that coach and guide people that want to come on the course and give them advice on the materials that they need to learn and go away and practice. So Hannah's asked another question here. So thank you for answering my early question. When it comes to apprenticeships, how soon could an employer expect to have their apprentice back from Northcoders as a developer? So that's a great question, Hannah. Thanks for that. So our course is 14 weeks. So on day one, that your new recruit starts with your company, they will come to us at Northcoders. We will train them for the first 14 weeks. In the middle of the 14 weeks, at week 7, you will get them back for a week. And then at the end, week 14, they will go to you as a fully trained junior software developer. Now, whether you want to train here in our facility in Manchester, and we've got a facility in Leeds as well, or whether you want to do that in a remote environment, or whether you want to do that in situ with your employer, that's totally fine. We can work around all that as well. Oh no, that's an earlier comment from Lee, but it's coming after Hannah. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Hannah. So it's a 14-week course, but the actual full course lasts for 13 months, but it's more of a kind of like working with your employer, coming back to us for smaller amounts of time from that. Okay, great. Are there any other questions or comments from the audience before we wrap up? We did say we'd do half an hour, so that's nice timing. I'll give it a couple more minutes. No? Okay, cool. Right, we'll wrap up on that. We've recorded this, so it is a live stream, but we've recorded it and we'll put it all over our social media and on our YouTube channel as well, so you can watch it or catch up if you wanted to see it again. Many thanks to Nathan today, and many thanks to Liam for joining us. And I can't wait to get these apprentices on board now and start on June the 21st. So we'll catch you all again soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.